and they were pilgrims all that towards Canterbury meant to ride. Our host gave us great welcome. Everyone was given a place, and supper was begun.
Welcome! Welcome to you all. Truly, gentlemen, you are very welcome. And I can't think when, upon my word, I'm telling you no lie, I've seen a gathering here that looks so spry. such days, Russell.
I was at the Creasy. Now I'm on the shelf.
You bought the French at Creasy? Is that so?
Creasy! Well, that was 40 years ago!
I wish I'd been there.
Well, it's quite an event.
What's always fighting people?
It's hard to say. Frenchmen believe, and this one must be condemned, that all of Europe should belong to them. And every now and then, they must be told that everything that glistens is not gold.
I thank you again, Sir Knight. You did a great job. Now then, Sir Priest, give us a bit of fun. Your turn. Repay the knight for what he has told us. Perhaps you have some moral tale.
Well, Master Bailey, it'd be your pleasure. Should old acquaintance please forgot, and now should I? Should old acquaintance please?
Now, Miller, that's enough. The Reverend Priest is about to tell us all the tale. At least behave yourself.
Good, very guts and girth. I know the funniest, rudest tale on earth.
Pipe down, you're drunk. We know if you don't.
Well, me, pot down, God solar, bloody welch. I'll tell me tale or else I'll go me way.
I'd like to hear it. Let him say instead.
Ma'am, you're a Christian. Only Christian here.
That's a little too severe. Tell us a decent story. If you can.
And just remember, manners make the man.
Ha! The carpenter. I'll remember that. Lecturing me. God's wounds I'll knock him flat. The carpenter. Kicked up into a steward, a bastard.
Oh, this is not the picture!
Him and me are on penance now, on this here pilgrimage. We had a row. And our parson says, here, you two, go off and make amends. Go off to Canterbury and come back friends. And here I am, doing the best that I can. And he comes up with, manners make it the man. Oh, mannerism.
Now, Master Miller, that's quite enough. We would all like to hear you do your stuff. A tale. We'll play something on the pipe.
Sir! Oh. You're a gentleman. I'm reeling rough. Sir, I have a tale, and if I should fail, the folks are blaming on Southern Gale. I have a tale for Oswald here, the steward.
Oh, it sounds like tennis. And a friendship cure.
It's a true story, all about the life of an old carpenter. He had a wife, a proper peach she was, who found a chap, an Oxford college student.
Shut your trap. No one wants your drunken harlotry. It's all full of sinfulness and mockery.
Well, my dear brother Oswald, such is life. A man is no coupled if he has no wife.
Now, Miller, get the better of your hand, gather your wits, and let us hear your tale.
Some time ago, there was a rich old codger who lived in Oxford and who took a lodger. The lad was a student and was very close and sly and took advantage of his young and innocent look.
What can I add? The miller has begun. He wouldn't hold his peace for anyone, but told his curl's tale his own way, I fear, and I regret that I must repeat it here. So I beg of all who are refined, for God's love not to find me ill in mind or evil in my purpose. I rehearse all their tales as told, for better or for worse. Don't blame me if they should speak amiss. The miller was a girl, I've told you this, and so is the steward, and other folk as well, and bawdy tales are all they had to tell. So
Some time ago, there was a rich old codger who lived in Oxford and who took a lodger. The fellow was a carpenter by trade, the lad a student who had made some studies in the arts. But all his fancy turned to astrology and geomancy. He was known as Nicholas the Gallant, and making love in secret was his talent. Oh, and he was musical too. The chamber rang with all the bawdy student songs he sang.
I have a noble cock. He crows at break of day. He makes me rise up early. My prayers for today. I have a noble cock, the finest rooster yet. His comb is of red coral, his tail black as jet. I have a noble cock, he is a child of nature, and when he sticks his neck out, it makes it quite a feature. I have a noble cock, his eyes can glow like amber, and every night he perches in my lady's chamber.
Now this carpenter had married a young wife not long before and loved her more than life. She was a pretty creature, fair and tender, with a weasel's body as softly slender. She wore a broad silk ribbon rather high, and certainly she had a lecherous eye. High boots she wore, and laced them to the top. She was a daisy, oh, a lollipop.
Oh, Allison, God, I love you. If I can't have you, it will be the end of me. Oh, love me all at once, or I shall die.
Now stop it, Nicholas. Don't you dare to try. No, I won't kiss you. Stop it. Let me go. Or I shall scream. I'll let the neighbors know. Where your manners? Stick away your paws.
Oh, give me a moment first. Be my cause. When can we find an opportunity?
But Nicholas, my husband is so full of jealousy. Unless you watch your step and hold your breath, I know for certain it will be my death. So just remember, keep it under your hat.
Oh, never mind about a thing like that.
But he's so suspicious.
Oh, but that will make it even more delicious. I'm an Oxford scholar. He's a clown. I need to stir my wits to put him down. I have my plans.
Suppose they don't go right.
Oh, don't you worry. It will be perfect on the night. But first, I need some food and drink. Enough to last a day or two.
Some beer and stuff?
Yes, that should do. I will take them to my room. But first, you must say that you have not set eyes on me all day.
I'll touch them all the same, but I don't quite see. What are you up to?
Oh, leave it all to me.
It happened later she went off to church, this worthy wife, that very day, to search her conscience and to do the work of Christ. She did so now and then, and that sufficed. Now, as well as Nicholas, I must remark, there was Absalom, the parish clerk. God bless his soul, he was a merry lad, and 20 different styles of dance he had. This Absalom, so jolly in his ways, would bear the censer round on holy days and cense the parish women. He would cast many a lovelorn look as he passed, especially on this carpenter's young wife. Looking at her would make a happy life, he thought. She'd be quite a piece to pounce upon. In taking his collection, Absalom would find his heart was set into such a whirl of love, he would take nothing from this girl. For courtesy, he said, it wasn't right. Now, later on, before the fall of night, he ups with his guitar and off he tours in search of love and paramours. If she thought more of it, she didn't tell. So, things went on. What's better than all's well? So, day to day, wooing away, Absalom became quite woebegone. He slept all night and all the day. He combed his thick locks and tried to pass for gay. But, where he is bold as brass, she was in love with Nicholas. So, Nicholas began to work his trick. The carpenter there imagined he was sick.
Oh, Robin! That things cannot be going right with Nicholas. Now go up there and look and tell me how he fares. Run along. Don't fall down the stairs.
Hey! Oh, what's up? Hi, Master Nikolai. How can you lie up there in bed all day?
Oh, Jesus, Mary and St. Freed, sweet bless us. We little know what's coming to distress us. This lad has fallen with this here Astro-G into a fit or lunacy, maybe. You know, it happened once with another student of Astro-G. He was so imprudent as to stare upwards while crossing a field. I think he was busy foreseeing what the stars revealed. Well, what should happen that he fell flat into a dung heap. He didn't foresee that. Come, Master Nicholas, is that a fashion to act? Look upon Christ's passion. I'll sign you with a cross of Helsing's stripes. I'll say a spell to keep you safe o' nights. Jesus Christ and Benedict sainted, bless this house and creature tainted. Drive away night hags, white Peter Soster. Where'd you go, St. Peter Soster?
Oh, oh, alas, alas, and must it come to pass? Must all the world be cast away?
Come, Master Nicholas, what's that you say? Put trust in God as us simple men do.
Is that you, John? Get rid of Robin, then. Now you must swear by Judgment Day not
Say what you like, I shall never tell man, woman, or child, or hear the tower of hell.
Now you listen, John. Believe you me, I have found out by my astrology, and looking at the moon when it was bright, that Monday next, a quarter way through night, rain is to fall in torrents such a scud. It will be twice as bad as Noah's flood. This world of ours, in just about an hour, will all be drowned in such a hideous shower, and all mankind with total loss of life.
All mankind to die? Alas, my wife, my pretty Alison, is she to drown? Along with me and the rest of the town? Is there no remedy for this?
Oh, thanks be to God, and to my art, there is. Now I want you now at once to hurry off, and fetch a shallow tub or kneading trough for each of us, and make sure that they are large, and such as we can float in, like a barge. Now, I will save your life if you needn't doubt it. Now off you go, and hurry up about it. Oh, wait. When the tubs have been collected 3, that's one for her and for yourself and me, I want you to hang them in the barn below the thatching, that no one may discover what we're hatching.
3 little troughs. What about some grub?
Oh, I have a gallon of beer in every tub.
Oh, I get it. The Lord will provide the rest of the stuff. I'll say a prayer reminding him of bacon, bread. Yes, of course. Are you sure you're not mistaken?
Oh, no. We'll be lords for all the rest of life, of all the world, like Noah and his wife. Now hurry up. The stars permit no stay.
Well, thanks a lot. I'll do just as you say.
Oh, it is only right. You must be very careful on the night, for there must be no sin before we start. For you and your wife must keep some way apart.
No sin, but there's the nightly debt to pay.
Wait till the following day.
My poor little Alison, won't she miss?
Oh, no. The good Lord is very clear on this.
Well, I should be lucky unless I'm mad to have a greater grace as Noah had.
There's something in my blood for you.
Which is just about too far for you.
There's something in my blood.
Which is just about too far.
It will be a hard
Night fell, and the old man had fulfilled his mission. Tubs, ropes, and ladders, all were in position. where this carpenter was used to be, the revel started and the melody. The first top rose, and thereupon up rose the jolly lover, Absalom.
I'll get some satisfaction anyway. There's an itching in my mouth today, and that's a sign of kissing at the least. And all last night I dreamt about the feast. Allison, honeycomb, my pretty bird, sweetheart, wake up and say a little word. Darling, I'm so deep in love, I croon with longing like a turtle dove. I eat as little as a girl at school.
Now, Absalom, be off, you great tomfool. There's no come up and kiss me here for you. I love another, and why shouldn't I too? Better than you. By Jesu, Absalom, take yourself off, or I shall throw a stone. I wouldn't get some sleep. You go to hell.
Alas, dearest heart, I knew it well. True love is always mocked and girded at. So kiss me if you can't do more than that, for I'm very good at kissing, and you will see.
If I do, will you stop pestering me?
I swear to you, darling, I'll be gone.
Hold on, I'll just get something on. Hold steady, Nicholas, and we can see. Hold your breath. We shall laugh to death.
I'm going to give my kiss. It's short, please. A gentle one at first, and then by degrees, as more to come. The plot may thicken, at least so I hope. Your mouth might chicken. Bend down and let me have a taste.
Looks spry then, no time to waste. The neighbors here are always on the spy.
With this, Absalom started wiping his mouth dry. It was pitch dark. And with a thump, Allison opened the window and stuck out her rump. And so, fortune framed the farce. Absalom put up his mouth and kissed her naked arse.
That was a devilish thing to do.
That's Nicholas! Oh, take it backward! I take my soul and sell it to the devil! Oh, to get leveled! God, how could I let myself be fooled?
Well, by now, the fiery heat of love had cooled. But from the time he kissed her hinder parts, he didn't give a tinker's curse for tops.
Take him off! Open up! It's me!
What's that? Who's there?
It's me! It's Absalom!
Absalom. By Jesus' blessed tree. You're early up. Hey, Benedicite, what's wrong? Like there's not some young girl that sets you out upon the trot. But I shouldn't ask, it's not my affair.
Can you lend me that iron in your hand there? I have a job to do. It won't take long, and I'll bring it back to you.
Well, it shall be done, as I'm an honest smith, but Christ, man, why use this to do it with? What is this job?
Let that be as it may. You'll hear about it some other day, and then you'll wonder what I need it for.
Hark, there's someone at the door. Who's knocking there? A warrant for thieves.
No, it's not, my pretty flower leaf. It's me, your very own Absalom, my sweetie thing. And look what I have brought you. It is a golden ring that my mother gave me as I may be saved, and it's very prettily engraved. I'll give it to you, darling, for a kiss.
Now, Nicholas had risen for a piss and thought he could improve upon the jape and make Absalom kiss his ass and he escaped. So he went to the window and opened it with a jerk, stuck out his bum. A handsome piece of work. Buttocks and all, as far as to the haunch, said Absalom, all set to make the launch.
Speak, pretty bird, I know not where thou art.
With this, Nicholas let fly a... Smoke! Absalom had kissed her nether eye, and Nicholas was branded on the bum. So, God in heaven, bring us all to kingdom come.
They come to her by nature, not by art.
heart, and altogether has a graceful charm. What is that coral trinket on her arm?
Coral and gold,
Indeed, it's very gay.
engraved with a long, vintage, only egg. I'm rather deaf. Engraved with what you call? Why, that's her motto. Love will conquer all. Ah, love will conquer all. I've always said, you either go to heaven or to bed. And our prioress has even written a song about it.
Madam, if I am not wrong, everyone here would love to hear you sing. I should enjoy it above everything.
Oh, you're flattering my vanity. But since you insist, I'll be happy to agree.
He and the fleas did not arrive together. Summon!
I have a thing for thee, and it is nice to see, with a hug till he come. Sit down upon my knee.
Why, who are they? I didn't see them last night.
Why, this one's a summoner. He was here all right. The tall one's a partner. Just home. Back from a journey to the court of Rome.
The summoner sent sinners to the pardon, who pardoned them for cash, for which they prefer.
It seems about time we started to cash in. Our friends look full of profitable sin.
Unless you get your preaching into shape, we'll get to Canterbury and then escape.
Running up and down the nation, dealing out summons. For fornication, oh my
What's his name?
Why, that's our worthy friar. Now there's a man to admire. For he says nothing good can come from looking after lepers in a slum.
It's marvelous how the church has kept her honor while all these caterpillars crawl upon her.
Yes, I shall marry in a year or so. It's liable to be expensive, though. If she were rich, I could afford it now.
Just remember what I'm always telling you. It's cheaper to buy from milk than keep the cow.
That's true. And what's more, it makes good sense.
Authority confirms experience.
If there were no authority on earth except experience, mine for what it's worth, and that enough all goes to show that marriage can be both a misery and a woe. For let me say, if I may make so bold, my lord, since I was but 12 years old, thanks be to God eternal evermore, 5 husbands I've had at the church door. How I can say for certain it's no lie, God bade us all to wax and multiply. Then why speak evil of the marriage state, and why not marry 2 or even 8? Blessed be to God that I have wedded 5, though 3 of them are only half alive. Welcome the 6th whenever he appears.
Oh, yeah.
I can't keep content for years and years.
Christ was a virgin fashioned as a man, and many of his saints since time began lived in continence a virgin life.
That as may be, but I would be a wife. Had God commanded maidenhood to all, marriage would be condemned beyond recall. And certainly if seed were never sown, how then could virginity be grown? And when my husband comes to pay his debt, I'll have a husband yet who will be both my debtor and my slave, and bear his tribulation upon his flesh as long as I'm his wife, and he shall be my loyal servant all his life.
Women were made and promised to keep their husbands.
That is what we have to say, but what if we may quell them with this frown?
Madam, but this is reason upside down.
Listen, if married folk were to lead a quiet life, one of them must be master of man or wife. And since man's more reasonable, he should be the patient one. You must agree.
Well, lady, that's a novel point of view. To hear men praise as reasonable as by you. I thought that women claimed they have sex, and that it is only husbands who are dead.
Just look at him. Just look. God's arms and skin. Those deadly friars, they're always butting in.
How about you, you miserable shrimp?
You fake.
You phony?
Fornicator. Get it?
patience on a pillar, and thinking of something to destroy the miller. It is about the miller?
Yes, it is. I have a story to pay him out for his. At Trumpington, near Cambridge Town, a bridge runs over where the brook runs down. And by this bridge, there's a mill as well. It's God's truth that I'm going to tell. There was a miller who lived there many a day, as proud as a peacock and as gay. He was a thief as well, of corn and meal. Besides that, his habit was to steal. Simpkin the swagger, he was called and scorned. He had a wife who was said to be overboard. She was in fact the daughter of a priest who had been quite celibate for the feast. They had a daughter between them, a girl of 20 summers road. The wench was 12, well grown enough to pass. She had a snub nose and eyes as gray as glass. Her rump was broad, her breasts were round and high. She had very pretty hair, I will not lie. There were also 2 students who had sworn the miller should not get the college corn. So they borrowed a horse, and on his back, it was the warden's horse. They placed their sack of corn, and vowed if their simply started cheating, they'd catch him out and give him a good beating.
Hey, Johnny lad, it's going to be a joke. Let's strike a blow for honest folk.
I'll wager Simpkin tries to steal a pecker's.
By doom, I'll lay my bloody neck. He won't succeed. I'll watch him like a cat.
Now, John, you be careful what you're at. A man may need more trouble than he brings.
Ah, there you are. Hail, Simpkin. And how's things? And how's your canny daughter? And your wife?
Left on, lad. Welcome, Alan. Odds my life, it's John as well. So it's on your mind.
We brought the college corn for you to grind.
Can you help us get home as quickly as you can?
Well, it shall be done as I am the man. But when are you 2 due on the job in hand?
Oh, by God, Simpkin, I have a mind to stand right there by that hopper and watch it go in. Ever since I was born, saw that hopper wagon to and fro.
A good idea, John. Will you so? I'll stand a short way off and watch the meal come down into the trough.
It's just a trick with their about. They think nobody can catch them out. But by the Lord, I'll clear their eyes a bit for all their college cleverness and wit. And the more they try to do me on the deal, when the time comes, the more likely to steal.
And when he saw his chance, he sidled out into the yard behind and looked about, without their noticing, until at last he found their horse where they had tied him fast. And stripping the bridle up there and then, he sent him galloping off into the bed. Then he returned to his work, the corn was ground, and Alan and John watched and stood around.
At last the college corn has its rightful share. Well, you go fetch the horse and I'll attend to the mare. Oh, the one in Palfrey's gone. It's been took. John, quick, come out. Look, look. Oh, the horse is gone. The devil is in it. Oh, God, bones, man. Use your legs. Come out this minute. What's that you say? The warden's Palfrey. But which way? When?
You'd best be quick, going off into the bend with the wild man as fast as he could go. Curse the clumsy hand that tied him so. Should have known better how to get the reins.
We must be daft. Come out for Christ's pains.
Well, my dear, these lads have had a fright. I'll pluck their beards, let them read and write. Nonetheless, a miller is their match. Look at them now, like children playing catch.
To put it brief, it was not until night that they found the palfrey, hunt him as they might. Across the fence, he had ran away so fast, until in the ditch they found him at last.
Oh, alack, alas, the day when I was born, we were not here but mockery and scorn. Our corn is stolen, and they'll call us fools. The warden and all the fellows at the schools. Oh, and now the miller. What a day. And it is night, and we shall have to stay.
Give us a room, man. We can pay our penny.
But if it's a room you want, lads, there isn't any. There is this, such as it is. Bud will share it then, though it seems a bit small for two such learned men.
Now, Molly, fetch the beer. All I must do, and hurry up, girl, for there's lots to do. The mugs are in the kitchen, and where's that ladle? The stew needs a stirring, and mind that cradle. Now, are we ready?
Sit down, everyone. These lads from college have no fun. Send off to fetch the corn, they lost their horse. Not knowing how to handle one, of course. Well, us simple-minded millers with no books aren't quite so foolish. Well, that's how it looks.
Dear host, you're right, but we need cheering up, so never mind your wisdom and pass the cup.
Having well wet her whistle from the ladle, beside her bed, she planted down the cradle. To bed went their daughter, too, and thereupon, to bed went Al, and to bed went John.
Hey, Johnny, hark it down. Are you awake? Have you ever heard the song, for goodness sake? All the song night I shan't get no rest, but never you mind, all will be for the best. I tell you, John, as sure as I'm a man, I'm going to get that wench there. If I can. Our corn is stolen, never doubt of that. Ill luck has followed us at all we're at. And since no compensation has been offered for our loss, I am going to take the easement proffered.
The miller is a terrible man for slaughter. If he shall catch you as his daughter, he might have injured both you and me.
Injury? Him? I count him not a flea.
Alan rose up. Towards the wench he crept. The wench lay flat on her back and slept. To put it short, they were soon at one. Now Alan fled, but we will return to John.
A bloody joke. What a chance to miss. I shall be made a monkey of this. My mate has some comfort for his harms. He has the miller's daughter in his arms. He took his chances and now his needs are sped. I am but a sack of rubbish here in bed. And when this jape is told the time to come, they shall say that I was a softy or a bum. I shall take my chances do what I may. But God helps those who help themselves, they say.
Don't hit me, Daddy.
Now I feel better. It's as dark as pitch. Where's my bed? I can't tell which is which. Hey, that cradle. Have I lost my way? Oh, here it is. I almost went astray. I got into the chicken bed. How dreadful. There must have been foul doings. Oh, what a medical.
She lay quite still and tried to sleep. John waited a moment and then gave a leap. Till the third morning cock was heard to sing. Alan grew tired as dawn began to spring. He had been hard at work the long, long night.
Goodbye for now, sweet Molly. Oh, you all right?
All right, my Billy boy, I am indeed. Goodbye, my sweet, sweet Alan. Take this easy. But before you go, while you were riding homeward past the mill, by the main entrance gate, a bit behind it, there's a half-bushel cake. You're sure to find it. It was made out of the very meal you brought here to grind, and I helped Father steal. But dearest heart, God have you in his keeping. One kiss before you go? They're all still sleeping. Oh, and now you really must be on your way.
My God, what's this? I almost went astray. My mind is tottering from my work tonight. I feel all dizzy from it. Can't go right. Hey, Johnny, you pig's head, you. Let me back in the bed. You're over, too. Ah, listen as I tell you. Such noble games as I have had. Isaiah Light, St. James, St. Friedrich, Noble Bridget, and St. Joe. We had some fun and then, well, you know.
You beast! You bloody student! You shall pay it dear!
Oh my God, it's the miller! How did he get here?
You blockhead! You dirty rat! Sleep with my daughter! I'll murder you for that!
Oh, Molly, get up! Get the lantern lighting! Oh, I see you now! Take that! Oh.
And thus the bumptious miller was well beaten, and done out of the supper they had eaten. His wife was duped, so was his daughter. Look, that comes from being a miller and a crook. Tricksters will get a tricking, so say I. And God, who sits in majesty on high, will send all of his company, great and small, to glory. Thus I paid out the miller with my story.
ladies all prepare to mount.
lovely one, fair, young, well-to-do, and full of fun. And truly, as my husband said to me, I had the finest whatnot that made me. For Venus set me reeling to the stars, and my heart's boldness came to me from Mars. Born under Taurus with Mars therein, alas, alas, for the love was sin. I was unable to deny in truth my chamber of Venus in a likely youth. The mark of Mars is still upon my face, and also in another privy place.
I have been pondering what Dame Alice said. How many husbands may she take? Who would be thy master man or wife? Was fully matrimony made for strife?
These, I agree with you, are difficult questions. Unsuitable for feminine discussion. Get through a joke. I'm looking from the start. Give me the goodness.
Now this confuses me, for by the school, she to be damned according to the rules.
For at least she falls within the terror of hell, for being within the dangerous error.
Oh, hell! You hardly crier, you know all about it. Tell us the natural home, you needn't doubt it. Those who often heard themselves of our friar was sent down to hell. And when he got there, have you heard the boss? They found out on for him. Oh, the devils!
What security it is to all to have me here among you at small, with pardon for the lowly and the great, to solely body for the future state. Come down, sir host, you shall be first to pay, and to kiss my holy relics right away. Come on, only a brook. I've got me a bird.
Away, you rogue, and may the curse of Christ descend upon me if I do. You'll have me kissing your own britches, too. And swear they were the relics of a saint, though your own fundament supplies a paint.
I think the miller is drunk.
Cockbone, don't tumble up and perch and hit that door.
Let me alone, blast kid. Never take the show. Or seem to feel all heavy. Seem to have lost control.
Poor Miller. I've never seen him so pale.
Well, that's because of drinking so much ale.
I shall pacify him with the grape. You now watch closely, and we will have another chase.
Thank you, brother. I feel better. That's the stuff.
Don't give it back. Not until you've had enough. Now, can we make up yet? Or aren't you ready yet?
Well, I never do forgive, but I forget.
This is doing good, I think. Already.
Madam, no, it's just the drink. Dear madam, can we hear more about your husband? You have told us of four.
Well, of my fifth last husband, let me tell. God never let his soul be sent to hell. I think I loved him best, I'll tell no lie. He was disdainful in his love, and that's why. When something difficult in hand he had, we cried all day like mad.
Yes, cheap goods have little value, I suppose.
Aye, that's the thing that every woman knows. Well, of my fifth and last, God keep his soul in health, the one I took for love, and not for wealth, had been at Oxford not so long before, but had left and gone to lodge next door.
That Oxford job. Can it have been me? Speak up, sir student.
No, nor like to be.
When my fourth husband lay upon his bier, I wept all day and looked drear as drear. To church they bore my husband on the morrow, looked so clean and fair, I gave up my whole heart for him to hold. He was, I think, some 20 winters old, and I was 40 then, to tell the truth, but I always have had a coltish tooth. What can I say? Before the month was gone, that day young student, my delightful John, had married me in solemn festival. I gave him all the money, land, and all that ever had been given me before. This was something I regretted later, more and more. None of my presents would he let, but by God, he smote me once upon the cheek, because I tore a page out of his book, and that's the reason I'm dead. But look, about that book, and why I tore out the page, and how he smote me death in very rage. One evening, Johnny, glowering with ire, sat with his book and read it by the fire. It was a book concerning wicked wives who had made a misery of their husbands' lives. First, he read of Eve, whose wickedness brought all mankind to sorrow and distress. Then he read of how Samson, while he slept, was shorn of all the hair by her he kept. He left nothing out of the miseries occasioned by his wife Socrates. He said she poured a paste pot on his head, and the silly man sat still as though he were dead, wiping his head but dared no more complain, and said, ere thunder stops, down comes the rain. These were the things that he used to read about. Who could imagine, who could even figure out the torture in my heart? And when it reached the top and I saw that he would no longer stop reading this cursed book, all night no doubt, I suddenly jumped up and tore 3 pages out, right where he was reading, at the very place, and fisted such a buffet in his face, then backwards into our fire did he fall. And like a maddened lion with a yell, he up and was to smote me on the head. And down I fell upon the floor for dead. He was aghast, and when he saw how motionless I lay, he would have fled away. But in the end I started to come to. You murderer, you robber, you, to get my lands, I said, was that the claim? Before I'm dead, I'll kiss you all the same. Coming close and kneeling gently down, he said, my love, my dearest Allison, forgive me, I never shall hit you again, love. But if I did, you asked for it? For all, he was so meek, and I up at once and smote him on the cheek. And I said, take that to level up the score, now let me die, I can speak no more. We had a mort of trouble and heavy weather, but in the end we made it out together. He'd given me government of all he got, and I made him burn that damn book upon the spot. And when he said to me, my own and truest wife, do as you please all the rest of your life, but guard your honor and my good estate, from that day forward there was no debate. I was as kind to him as any wife from Denmark to the rim of India, and as true, and he to me. And I pray that God sits in his majesty to bless his soul and fill it with his glory. I'm sorry, but you all will have to wait till later before you hear my story.
What is your opinion? Should a wife have dominion in marriage, or should she be obedient?
The latter truly is the more expedient, and argument will prove it a truth. Adam was Lord of Eve in paradise, but when the serpent showed the tempting fruit, she disobeyed and made him follow suit, which was the root cause, as you all will find, of all the woes and evils of mankind.
Sir, if I may be bold to answer you, the Blessed Virgin was a woman too.
And she became, as you may well recall, and so became and left to be a cause the paradise which Eve and Adam loved.
Allow me, ma'am, to bring you back to the question and bring you further proof for your digestion. Let me refer you to that well-known story of poor patient Griselda.
Oh, now there's a tale of glory. Patient Griselda, who obeyed her Lord, the
Rousseau was not an English girl, you know, and it is quite hard nowadays to find such an English girl with such good religious ways.
Where are the girls of yesterday? Good and old, and do as they do. Where are they? Who can say my story? Good and old. With Irish Molly, one so jolly, and with the flower wing out with the snow. In Ireland, Mary, clever country, will you be fine the legal road on English road? Look at the girls you get today. We might well, go we might well. It's just the same where you go and you say yes and she says no. We might well.
Weeping and wailing, care and other sorrow. I know them well enough by even tomorrow. There's a wide difference, I'm bound to say, between Griselda's patience and the way my wife behaves. Her studied cruelty surpasses everything. If I were free, never again. Never again. That's the snare. We married men, our lives are grief and care.
My wife has other vices, plenty more. Still, no sense to rub a sore.
Ah, my good host. I only wedded her 2 months ago.
God help you, good sir. But still, since you know so much about the art of marriage, I beg you to impart to me.
There's going to be a shower. English weather.
Then let's all go back into the inn together. We can hear the merchant's tale under cover. Our Lady Prioress mustn't get wet. Lord love her.
There was a man one time of good renown in Lombardy. Pavia was the town. And he lived there 60 years or more, most prosperously. And here's the Dutchman. This fine old man, reacting to the surge of piety of something, found an urge so violent to be a West man that
And this friend Justinus?
Yes, they await you, sir.
Good. Then send them here. I have some private questions for their ear. We are to discuss the choosing of a wife. And you are to learn the facts of life. You know them?
No, sir.
Well, would you like to?
Oh, yes, sir.
Well, then you shall. Act as my confessor. Send them in at once. I wonder if I'm being an old dunce. Knees bent. Yes. Arms stay bent and stretched. There, who says I'm a poor old wretch? How nice of you to come. Oh, my dear old friend. I'm getting old. We all must face the end. God knows I'm near the pit. I'm on the brink. I have a little soul of which I ought to think. I have my passions too. I'm well aware, and I've decided I too would also like to have an heir. So, I resolved to be a wedded man. No more free love. With heaven if I can. She must be young, however, and a virgin. You've seen your doctor, have you? And your surgeon? Certainly, and your auntie. Are you fit, lad?
Come, I've nothing to manage it.
My heart and all of my members are as green as laurel is. All year round, I mean. Now that you are informed of my intention, I'd like to hear what news you have to mention.
Since you kindly asked for my opinion, you're right, nay, more than right. For love's dominion, and may you never feel the dryness that was hinted at by Sir Justin.
Well, I thank you. And now that I've heard what you advise, Justinus has the word. My dear old friend, be patient with me, friend. He spoke it is mine. Now hear what I would say. You're careful with your goods. How much the more you ought to think things over well before you give away your body. And for matrimony seals a certain doom. Remember, you buy a cattle on approval, but once you buy a wife, there's no removal. Oh, he thinks of all the evil things he can. It's most disloyal. You're a married man. God knows I am. And all the tears in my heart wept in secret since I had a wife. I know where the shoe pinches. As for you, well, you must do what pleases you. I beg you not to take it the wrong way. Well, I do not give a rap for what you say. For I have found a virgin in this town. One who I think will suit me up and down. She's so exquisitely lovely and gay, and not too wealthy. Her name is May. But I have heard a preacher say this. You cannot have two perfect kinds of bliss. That's bliss in heaven and bliss on earth. Is she not to cost more than she is worth? Is bliss with her, say till I'm 77, worth an eternity of bliss in heaven? Nevertheless, you may say no glory, since she perhaps may prove to be your purgatory. God's means of grace, or shall we say God's will, to save yourself to heaven with a skip over. Well, I'm obliged to you for what you say. But I tell you this, I will marry May. Oh my God. Well, Damien boy, what do you think of?
Everyone will envy you your bliss, sir.
Well, it's question do not discuss what we talked about together. Is that to say we talked about the weather?
Yes, sir. There's said to be snow in May, sir. Let's hope your strawberries are on the way.
In solemnity, and seated in their palace, he and May was disrobed, the curtains backward thrown. The bride was going to bed, as still as stone.
At least there will be no incompetence. God hinder me from doing all I might. And I pray to God that it were night, and night would last forever. Oh, how so? I wish these people would hurry up and go. Every time I gaze into the face I feel the blood in me begin to race. Tonight these arms will strain her with the ardor that parachute for Helen, but much harder.
Ravishing sight, a wooded ivy January this night. Isn't she gorgeous? Pretty of a face. Oh God, I can't stand it. I'm going to faint. Take me to my room and leave me there to groan. If not with May, I've got to be alone.
Now I know you all like petting girls. But it's bedtime, friend, and you must be gone. Leave the house. Politely if you can. Good luck. Oh.
let me touch your heart. No workman works both well and in a hurry, but all we done with perfect ease. Don't worry, and blessed be the yoke that we are in, for nothing we can do can count as sin.
God knows what Mary was thinking in her heart with him beside her and about to start, wearing that nice cap in his scrawny little throat. She didn't think his games were worth a groat. While sick-hearted Damien, scorched by Venus' fire, lay on in bed, still burning with desire. And so he set himself to ease his passion by writing May some verses, house rapture. For though the flesh in him ran frantic, he somehow saw himself as a romantic.
Damien! Think about how can it be that Damien's not here to wait on me?
Sir, he's sick.
Sick? Well, wise must learn their uses. One is to visit servants who are sick. Go to him, this might be a stretch. Be kind to him and help him all you can. He is a very worthy gentleman. And tell him I will do my best to see him when I've had my rest. I will be waiting for you, I may say.
This fresh young wife went off the shortest way to Damien's room and stood by his bed. There was a warmth of comfort in all she said.
I'm so sorry that you are not well. What can we do to help you? You must tell.
I have a secret, madam, to impart.
A secret?
You have massacred my heart.
Speak so faintly I can hardly hear. Could you lift up and speak into my ear?
I love you, madam. Mercy, I adore you.
He needs some water. We'll get you some. Run to the kitchen if you please and fetch a pail with water. Now you presumptuous wretch, what is it now? Be quick.
My lovely May, you're the reason I lie here today. Your beauty kills me. My pulse is beating for you. My head's rolling with calls to you. But don't betray me. If January knew it, he would slay me. But I would give all of heaven for a kiss.
You don't waste time.
Here, I bring you this.
Tina. There's no use arguing. It's an absolute circumstance.
How do you know? That's only what you say. You're mistaken. It's the other way.
I tell you, valor treacheries 10 times 10 are done by women than by men. It's a known statistic.
Your statistic? Let's for once be a little realistic. Isn't it a well-known fact that this green sword was planted by an old and lecherous lord? Yes, an old lecher to enjoy his queen. He's 65 and she's 17. Poor innocent. Isn't it he that is lecherous?
That's not the point. I am treacherous.
Isn't that like a man? It's quite absurd to start red herrings just about words, and in more serious talk, 10 women out of 10 that you say are treacherous. What is there in men that deserve faithfulness? You answer that.
That's not the point. And let me tell you, Black, it's not your job to say any words with me. I am your husband if you do not agree. It's for me to tell you what is what. Have you no me, kid? Are you a woman or not?
I am a woman, and I need to speak. Arm well until I rust. I won't be meek, and what's more, I will not say.
My dearest wife. Why must we always be a strife? I, Suzanne, you needn't doubt it. Such truth. Why be so personal about it? I'm simply saying women are treacherous.
And I'm saying men are lecherous.
Now, worldly joys may not endure for January, or anyone else, be sure. For alas, this noble January he, so lecherous once in his prosperity, went blind. Quite suddenly he lost his sight. Pitiful loss, he wept it day and night, and jealously embittered melancholy. For what if his darling wife should stoop to folly? What was she up to? He was never quite sure, but while he held her hand, he felt secure.
I said once, I should be nothing wrong if someone were to come and kill us both. I cannot imagine in death or life you and anybody else's wife. And if I could die, if I could meet my fate before you, true and hither to a late, the clothes on your back shall never be anything more than black.
But sir, they are black already. Black as night, in mourning for your suffering and your lost sight. Yet still you clutch me by the sleeve. But if you could only see me, you'd believe. Now Mary, in warm wax, had fashioned an impression of the key in January's possession. And as that little operation was completed, she gave the boy the key she'd counterfeited.
Come down, my lady free. Come down, gather lilies, sport with me. The garden we are in is walled about. I have a key to keep all strangers out. Sweet maid, be true, and I will tell you why. There are 3 things you'll learn thereby. The first, love of Christ. The second, honor to yourself. The third, my inheritance. My lands in health. But I pray to God, send me to that peaceful bliss. That first you seal the covenant with a kiss.
I pray to God that never dawned the day would let me die as foully as I may, that I shall ever be false, and above all to
Can you not see that honorable knight, who's old and blind and therefore unobserved, about to be cuckolded by his own servant? Therefore I shall grant this excellent knight that he shall instantly receive his sight as soon as she begins her harlotry. The first thing the poor old man shall see, both in rebuke of her and others too.
So that is what your majesty will do. Now, by my honor, though the girl is young, I'll put a ready answer on her tongue, and every woman's after for her sake. Though taken in their guilt, they yet shall make a bold-faced explanation to excuse them, and bear down all that venture to accuse them.
Proserpina, be angry no more. I give it up. However, as I swore upon my oath, I shall grant him his sight again. I will stand behind my word, let that be plain. I am a king, it fits me not to lie.
And I am a queen, my rank is just as high. Her answer she shall have, I will pay. So let's have no more words, for goodness sake.
Oh, my husband, I've a sudden pain. Now, when I told you I'd come again, it makes me long to have a juicy pear that I see hanging in the tree up there.
Oh, help me for the love of heaven's queen.
I warn you that a woman in my plight may often have so great an appetite for pears that she may sigh to go without.
Alas, there's nobody about the kind. I'm blind, as you can see.
But if you let me up into the tree, you could make sure that there was nothing in it by putting your arms around it for a minute. Then I could set my foot upon your back, and no one could approach me to attack.
Oh, of course, I'll do it for you, sweet. I always love to feel your pretty little feet. I'm always ready, love, to do you good.
So down he stooped, and upon his back she stood, climbing that branch, and with a spring she bent. Oh, lady, I beg of you not to take offense. I can't indulge. I'm a simple man. She went up into that tree, and Danny and pulled her.
Merchant, calm down, okay? We don't want to embellish too much. We don't want any of the local papers to get wind of this one. Behold the pilgrims as they cross the bridge upon the last day of our pilgrimage.
That wanted to be true.
Wicked young man, in this, our royal city, no ravisher of virgins needs this pity. Sir, you have dragged a virgin through the mud, dishonoring your noble Irish blood. Dare you deny you're an evil liver? Did you not, yesterday, beside the river, come on a virgin walking all alone, and violently take her for your own? Are you not guilty?
Guilty, my dread lord, have mercy.
It's a crime to be abhorred.
Ah, merciful queen, deign to use your tongue. Ah, lady, help me, I am still so young.
Sire, he is too young to die.
You waste your breath.
Show mercy, sire.
No, he must die the death.
Think what a power woman rules by. If she was forced, dear sovereign, so was I. When a woman's body calls him what man he stays, her beauty is a madness. Love obeys.
Would you obey a woman to destroy her?
Does not a woman wish me to enjoy her? Think, madam, must it be an evil hour when a young man succumbs to woman's power?
Sire, I see signs of virtue in this youth. I wish to send him on a quest for truth.
Dear Guinevere, you shall, so that I may see how women exercise authority.
Thank you, sire. This is to be the task, to solve a riddle which I shall now ask. Go forth and find the answer I require. What thing is it that women most desire? Return within 12 months and a day.
Oh God Almighty, what am I to say? Did you hear me?
Yes, I did. I would like to be a widow.
Ladies, tell me what it is that women most desire. What do women most desire? What is it that women most desire? What a sweetie. What do women most desire?
pain to the soul within my sorrowful breast. I've engaged upon a fruitless quest. I'm a doomed man, and down along the stay. My year is up, tomorrow is the day.
Stay now, Sir Knight. There is no way on from here. Tell me what you are looking for, my dear. For peradventure, were it best for you, we old women know a thing or two.
Dear mother, blessed dame, relax the day. I'm dead if I can say what thing is women most desire. If you tell me, I could pay or hire.
Give me your hand, Sir Knight, and swear to do whatever I shall next require of you. If so to do should lie within your might, and you shall know the answer before night.
Upon my honor, madam, I agree.
Then, dear sir, I dare to guarantee your life is safe. I'll make good my claim. Upon my life, the queen shall stay the same.
I order this, our council to convene, to hear the knight give answer to the queen. Bring in the prisoner knight. Queen Guinevere, ask him your question, for the knight is here.
Be sure to give the answer I require. What thing is it that women most desire?
Madam, so subtle are women's ways, I cannot give the answer in a phrase. There is a moment when the lover trembles with love before his lady. He resembles a servant at her absolute disposal. It is his joy to be so, he is proposing. And in that secret deference he pays, his soul obeys her utterance, so that her lightest whim is like the holy work of God. And that is what a woman wants in her husband most of all. He who is placed above her by society must quake with tenderest tremblings and be humble still, although her husband, and obey her will.
He's right. He saved his life. He's told the truth.
Well, you were pardoned, miserable youth.
Wear the axe, I say. And live life more clean.
Stay! Hear me call to justice, king and queen. 'Twas I who taught this answer to the knight, for which he swore and pledged his honor to it, that whatever I asked of him he'd do it. For well you know that I have saved your life, so make good your claim and take me for your wife. If this be false, deny it by your sword.
Alas, alas, O lady, by the Lord, I know indeed that such is my behest, but for God's love, think of a new request. Take all my goods, but leave my...
Curse on all those here, if I agree. I may be foul, I may be poor and old, but would not choose to be for all the gold that's bedded in this earth or lies above, less than your wife, nay, your very love.
My love? By heaven, by damnation! Alas, that any of my rank or station should ever make so foul a misalliance.
You will win nothing, sir, by this defiance. Do you prefer the axe, or else the bed?
Then take them to chapel. Let them wed.
right indeed. That can never be now. Nothing can ever be put right again. You're old and so abominably plain, so poor to start with, so low bred to follow. It's little wonder I twist and wallow. God, that my heart was burst within my breast.
Is this the only cause of your arrest?
Yes, certainly it is. And can you wonder?
Well, I could set right what you suppose a blunder. That is, if I cared to, in a day or two, if I was shown more courtesy by you. Just now, dear sir, you spoke of gentle birth, such as descends from ancient wealth and worth. Christ wills we take our gentleness from him, not from a wealth of ancestry long dim. You are no gentleman, no duke or earl. Vice and bad manners are what make a curse.
Why did I never think of that before? Christ certainly was gentle. Who was more?
As for my poverty, was Christ not able to choose a palace, yet he chose a stable? Poverty often, when the heart is lowly, brings one to what is holy.
But if I'm poor, is that the kind of life a man should offer to support his wife?
Sir, I have never yet asked you for money. If there is bread, I shall do without the honey. Lastly, you tax me with being old. Yet even if you gentlemen never had been told before in book, and you are told to engage yourself to respect old age. Nevertheless, well knowing of your delight, I shall fulfill your worldly appetite.
Impossible! You can't know what they are!
Well, I've a shrewd idea. I'll go so far. You have two choices. Which will you try? To have me old and ugly till I die, but still a loyal, true, and humble wife that never will displease you all her life? Or would you rather I were young and pretty, and take your chances with what happens in the city? Which will you have, for you must choose alone?
My lady and my love, my wife, my own. Whatever pleases you suffices me.
And have I won the mastery? Speak free. Am I to choose and rule as I see fit?
Certainly, wife, and have indeed. That's it.
Kiss me, darling. Come on.
Now my oath and word of honor, you shall find me both. The day is dawning with an end of pain. You looked at me just
can be contrived. Now let me ridden into town in sticks to finish off this interesting debate. Sir, what is your true opinion? Should man or wife exercise dominion in marriage? That, I think, requires an answer.
I think so too. But I'm no tightrope dancer in matters of such delicacy. Still, here's my opinion. Listen if you will. Love is the same as any spirit free. Women by nature of their liberty, and not to be enslaved and made wrong. But so do men, if one may speak for all. For courtesy and reason, say or say, the greater strength may lie in giving way. In married love, obedience interlocks with courtesy, and that's love's paradox.
That's nobly said.
In all that we have heard, you stand the best and wisest word. That's sermon.
Oh, the truth indeed.
We thank you, sir. For once, we're all agreed.
She said she's looking for some other fellow. That's a sure sign she's ripe and mellow.
Well, my dear brother Oswald, take your chance and try your service in the oldest dance. A house of God has built with human hands.
My masters, may I say friends of mine, we are approaching the good St. Thomas shrine. Meanwhile, I have thought that who should be the one, now that our journey is so nearly done, to put us all in the mood that it is the parson's job, not my affair.
Well, if my simple words may serve to end this pilgrimage of ours, may heaven send to be wit enough to point to furthest stage. I mean the final glorious pilgrimage called the Celestial to Jerusalem, the city of all joys. Oh, think of that. As night begins to fall, that song our prioress has taught us all, for it is sure that love will take the sting from sin and death and conquer everything.
Of all those who have listened to this little treatise, that if there be anything that pleases them, they thank our Heavenly Father for it, from whom proceeds all goodness and understanding. And if there be anything that displeases them, I beg them to impute it to the fault of my want of ability, and not my will, who would gladly have done that.